Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Thursday, January the 2nd, 2020. I am Bav Northwell with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves said he is very optimistic about 2020, which will see the continuation of socio-economic transformation of SVG and the enhancement of work globally. This as he wished Vincentians here and abroad on New Year's Day the best for 2020. Prime Minister Gonsalves said that locally the country has a significant amount of investment opportunities, including several hotel projects already on stream.
For instance, 20-something containers came in with steel and equipment just a few days ago for the Royal Mill Resort, which is a 200-room facility to be built at Indian Bay. It's about $60 million US. Then the work will start this year by the middle of January, middle of the year on the state hotel to be run by the Marriott down at Mount Wynn. Shortly to start would be the project with the hotel out at Diamond, the Holiday Inn Express, and of course the hotel continues with the Canadian entrepreneur.
Prime Minister Gonsalves said that by the middle of 2020, the SVG Geothermal Company will be able to say how much energy the country can generate from the geothermal project. He further noted that with the amount of construction to take place, he is concerned about having enough aggregate in the country.
One of the things which is concerning us is with the amount of construction would be where we're going to get all the aggregate from. It's an issue which we are addressing. Of course, the investors up at were bringing in were brought in the equipment I just spoke about for the Royal Mills Resort. They've brought in the containers, some of the containers, a stone crusher, which will produce more aggregate than they need. They have a site identified. There are other people who want to set up aggregate facilities because there's a shortage of aggregate in the whole region. It's in Dominica because of their construction after the hurricane.
Meanwhile, earlier today, Her Excellency Rhonda King planted the flag of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the smallest country ever to sit on the Security Council, at the flag installation ceremony. Her Excellency King described the day as an historic one, not only because SVG became the smallest country ever to take up a seat on the UN Security Council as an elected non-permanent member, but because the urgency of now calls for fresh and impartial perspective on challenges facing the world today.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines has no geopolitical axe to grind. We are just a young nation that yearns for a better world. We come to the task with a team that largely comprises young, well-educated, enthusiastic, and creative thinkers. Our permanent representative is female, yours truly, and I am supported by 2 female deputy permanent representatives, a female political coordinator, a female out political coordinator, and a female legal advisor. Indeed, we are a team that is 2/3 female. That too is probably historic. But above all, we are a Caribbean people. According to the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. the Honorable Ravi Gonsalves, we, metaphorically speaking, comprise the songs of Caribs, our indigenous people, the rhythm of Africa, the chords of Asia, the melody of Europe, and the lyrics of the Caribbean itself. With this uniquely blended psyche, we go forth with the audacity and the hope of making a small contribution toward the creation of transformative, resilient new realities.
Health is a shared responsibility, and the Public Health Department said the continued support of all Vincentians is needed in 2020 to promote a cleaner, safer SVG. The Public Health Department's scope of responsibility is wide-ranging, from tackling vectors such as rats and mosquitoes, which spread various diseases, inspecting meat and other food products to prevent the spread of foodborne diseases, as well as the general cleaning of the environment. Senior Environment Health Officer Danville Tony said while the public has over the years been receptive to the work of the department, there are still areas which the public can do more to help to keep the nation clean and healthy. Tony said two aspects which need to change is the attitude of persons towards littering and how they view the role of public health officers.
So littering is something that we can improve on generally. I think sometimes our own attitude or approach to taking care of our environment need to change. As I always say, we have to do the small things right. If we want to have a clean country, a clean city, each member has to recognize, or everyone in the public must recognize that the object that they have or the waste that they have to first of all store it properly so that they would be able to dispose properly. So it means that we have to use the receptacles better rather than taking the easy way out of throwing it in the drain or something, and with the whole idea that sanitation worker has to get something to do. We need to change that. So the point is we all have to do our part.
Recently, the Public Health Department was engaged in meat inspection to ensure that the supply of meat for the season was fit for public consumption. Tony said though persons have been complying, a few were engaged in activities which were not sanitary.
And that persons are not covering the meat as sometimes they're told. Because if you expose the meat to the elements, to dust and so on, you may have contamination. You might find sometimes that, especially when people slaughtering pigs, they want to have them on the ground. So these are things that we don't like to see. We want them off the ground on a proper platform that you can do where you scrape them and so on, the hearing and so on. So it is important that, because the activities that involve in meat inspection, you have to be hygienic. We have to do these things under sanitary conditions, and people have to comply. It is important that we do, because we want to make sure that the meat is not contaminated.
Along with solid waste, the Public Health Department also has to deal with the issue of human waste, particularly in Capital Kingston during the busy periods. Tony took the opportunity to appeal to persons to use public bathroom facilities, which he said will make the work of the public health officers much easier and keep the environment cleaner to help create a cleaner and safer SVG.
The point is we all have to do our part. One of the things that I also notice is that around the festive season, whether it's Christmas or Carnival, you find many areas very offensive with well, urine, if you want to call it that. I think that we have to change this kind of culture. We have to use the toilet facilities more and better, and don't just discard your waste, your human waste on the corner of the street or something because nobody sees. It is important that we dispose of our body waste properly, appropriately.
This country was able to reduce the importation of eggs during the 2019 Christmas season, the first in decades. President of the Poultry Association, Adrian Lewis, commended farmers for their excellent work and dedication. The Ministry of Agriculture currently provides subsidies all-day chicks of broilers and layer birds to farmers. Lewis, who has been in the poultry industry for 2 decades, says every Christmas the price for eggs will go as high as between 30 to 35 per flat, and sometimes more, hence need to be imported. He said for this Christmas, with an oversupply of eggs on the local market, the price did not get to $15 to $20 a flat. Commending all local egg producers, the Eastern Caribbean Group of Companies ECGC and the Veterinary Division, the Ministry of Agriculture, supposed to Caesar, said the ministry is currently engaged in discussions with 2 companies in the region, which have expressed an interest in purchasing eggs from SVG. The minister also called on persons who can to utilize more eggs to avoid the processed foods, especially at breakfast and dinner. Minister Caesar asserted that production in all areas of agriculture is on the rise, noting that the only country it is not producing more for local consumption, but is getting ready for export, which he said is as a result of diversification strategy and agri-export strategy platform. Loud music in omnibuses continues to be a problem here, and Station Sergeant Parner Brown is appealing to omnibus operators to provide their service within the confines of the law. Station Sergeant Brown comments came with an interview with our news team today on some areas in which the traffic branch of the RSVG police force is seeking to address this year. Station Sergeant Brown said while they have had many successful prosecutions in court against persons violating the law, it is important that omnibus operators treat the traveling public with more respect.
2019 we seek to clamp down on the music and the way how these omnibus operators treat their passengers. Now they have to know that they are not operating the omnibus for themselves. They are providing a service, and the service they are providing is to move the passengers from point A to point B. The passengers are not asking for a blacko in the vehicle. Some of these motor vehicle operators, they are having a blacko inside their motor vehicle, and this is against the law. If you want permission to have a blacko in your vehicle, you have to seek permission from the licensing authority, who is the Commissioner of Police. And until that permission is not granted, you are doing something illegal. I am asking you to desist from doing such practice. Please operate your omnibus within the confines of the law.
The police station sergeant said they will not be easing up on persons who are bent on breaking the law, and reminded motorists that the plainclothes officers have the same powers to ensure the law and orders are maintained on the nation's roads.
Officer, if you have one uniform, as long as you took the oath to be a police officer, you are a police officer until the day you resign or you retire. Every police officer should have their police ID. Whenever a police officer observe or see an offense being committed, they have the rights to approach the person, identify themselves with their police ID, and inform the driver or the persons of the offense they are committing, and whether he or she feels that they should be prosecuted, he or she will inform them that they will be prosecuted for the offense or offenses. So police doesn't have to be in uniform to complain or to give somebody a ticket.
Arnorsville is one area which is normally congested with traffic, and Station Sergeant Brown is happy with the decision of the authorities to use the runway of the decommissioned airport for vehicular traffic.
You would have noticed that in 2019, through the Ministry of Works, Minister Julian Francis and the Commissioner of Police, we opened the Arnorsville Airport Road, which is of tremendous help to the persons coming from the countryside. The congestion of traffic that we used to have in Arnorsville, we no longer have that. Persons are really adhering, and the persons are using that piece of road to make their traveling easier to get into Kingston. On behalf of the Commissioner of Police, the Superintendent in charge of traffic, Superintendent Kenneth John, and the staff of the Traffic Department, we want to wish all the citizens, motorists, visitors of St. Vincent and the Grenadines a prosperous 2020.
4 babies were born here on New Year's Day at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. The first, 2 twin boys, were delivered just after midnight by cesarean section. Their mother is a 34-year-old Shamika Hazel of Beckway. The twins are in the NICU at the hospital as they were expected to be born later this month. They, however, are said to be in good health, weighing in at just 5 and 4 pounds respectively. The elated first-time mother said it was a painful 16 hours before she went under the knife to deliver her babies.
Yes, Eva was admitted based on the swelling of my feet. It was very, very big. These complications to mix up with everything, they decided to have this emergency cesarean. I was a bit scared because I didn't know. It's my first time, and it actually are twins. They're two. I never got to the surgery room until like after 11. So I speaking with the babies, I said, why you all don't just wait for the New Year's and done? I said, why you all don't wait for the New Year's? So when they actually born, it was New Year's. Well, in my words, I was saying, me and the babies are gonna pop a champagne for New Year's. They're waiting for us to pop a champagne, and that's exactly what happened. We pop a champagne. It was so amazing. Well, I didn't know what went down, but they were born at after 12:01 and 12:02, I think. Twin one, I think, is 5 pounds 6 ounces, and then twin two is about 4 pounds some ounces.
Hazel is not sure yet when she will be discharged from the hospital with her twin boys, her gifts for the new year.
I saying these babies are gonna be my angels, and they have to born on a special day, whether it be Christmas, whether it be New Year's, whether it be Easter, because I'm actually born on my mom's birthday. Okay. So that's one luck handed down to me. It's a blessing, and I'm so happy. I'm a bit shaky still at the moment, but I'm so amazed and happy at the same time. That everything, just as I planned everything happened just like. So always remember, words are powerful. So make sure what you ask for, you actually need it.
Corrida Thomas of Diamonds Village delivered her 9-pound baby girl on New Year's Day, her second child.
It was very hard. Yes, because she's wearing 9 pounds and I deliver her normally. Well, I'm very exhausted, and I'm tired and stuff like that. But I'm happy for a girl. Because I have a girl before, but I rather girls. Yes.
Why?
You know, boys are very hard to go with. Monday. Since Monday, yes, because preeclampsia. Yes. So they had to take her from me, introduce labor. So I had her yesterday around 7-something p.m. Yes.
The other mother who gave birth on New Year's Day was already discharged from the hospital upon our news team's visit. Many locals and visitors were wowed by the spectacular light show put on at the Botanical Gardens for the 9 Nights of Light event, and more work will be put in to further develop the activity, which forms part of the National 9 Mornings Festival. Speaking with our news team, Director of the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority, Andrew Wilson, said each year they have extended the light in the gardens, and there is a unique idea which he believes will make the display more magnificent.
Firstly, there's a need for us to also look at how we can continue to improve the lighting, to extend the lighting into new areas. The gardens are a very large space, and each year we have tried to actually improve and extend the lighting to new areas and to also improve on areas that we would have lit in the past. So it's a continuous engagement, a continuous effort that is required. We also rely heavily on the corporate sector for their support. We have had a lot of new persons on board this year, but we still have room for additional persons, additional private sector interests who may wish to contribute, sponsor, and donate. We also had an idea that we have been, looking at over the last few years in having some selected areas being allocated where we could probably have the corporate sector light those areas, which will allow us to extend and have the involvement of other players to help us to have a better lit product. So that is something still on the cards that we'd like to see.
Feedback is important for any festival to grow, and Wilson highlighted one idea suggested by the public, which was taken on board this year.
We will actually have a review of the activity very soon, and we will obviously take into consideration feedback that would have been given by persons who would have visited the sites. We even actually incorporate some changes during the night nights itself. For example, one of the things that we did this year, we normally will do our t-shirts for our staff and volunteers who work during night nights, and persons who came to night nights activity actually saw the t-shirts, fell in love with them, and actually wanted to have t-shirts as souvenir. So we actually did produce some before the end of night nights to offer to sale to persons, and in some cases persons who came in from overseas who wanted to take it back with them as souvenir items really. So this is something that we actually did during night nights based on feedback that and requests that we received from persons during the activity.
The Botanical Gardens is the oldest in the Western Hemisphere, and as such rules were in place as it pertains to the plant life. Coordinator of the Nine Nights Committee, Kolisha Solomon, said there has been no reports of serious damage during the Nine Nights activity, and they have increased the amount of garbage receptacles to reduce littering.
Well, we have extra staff and security that we hire to make sure that persons do adhere to the rules, because the next day, even after the 9 nights is finished, the gardens is open from 6 again. So we have to make sure that everything is in place and everything is clean. So we have staff that usually take care of that. And so far we haven't heard any reports that anything was damaged, or if persons do respect the gardens, they come, they see the lights, they respect the area and the environment that they're in. I could say if the littering, people will still put in their garbage on the floor and on the ground. But our MC encouraged persons to use the bags that were provided. But what we can do also is improve and put in bins in strategic areas, so that persons will know that they are there to use them. And because sometimes the bags get filled and they're overflowing. So if we have the bins, I think that will help in the litter problem that we have. It wasn't major, but you don't want it to get out of hand.
All right.